So what is success? No, really, think about it. Is it getting that corner office, writing a bestseller? Or is it just finally, learning to bake bread that doesn't double as a doorstop? We spend our entire lives chasing this thing, this feeling. But what if I told you that the way you think about success is, well, completely wrong? Or at least it's totally different from how your brain is actually keeping score. Okay, let's get into this because what scientists have figured out, it's going to change how you see every single win and every loss from here on out. So let's just ask the big question right up front, shall we? How does that 3-pound universe sitting between your ears actually know when you've succeeded? I'm not talking about promotions or good grades or what your parents always hope for you. I mean, on a deep chemical level, what does your brain count as a win? You probably think it's about hitting the target, right? Achieving the goal. But the real answer, oh, it's so much cooler than that.
All right, before we get into the wild, brain-bending science of it all, let's start with what we all kind of think we know. Let's run through the usual suspects. The stuff every self-help book and motivational speaker tells us about what it means to be successful.
And here they are, you know the list. Achieving your goals, personal growth, that warm, fuzzy feeling of inner satisfaction, being a killer problem solver, having that growth mindset, self-confidence. And yeah, all of these things are super important. For sure. They are absolutely the building blocks of a great life. But, and this is a big but, this is all this psychological view, the big picture. This is the effect, not the cause. It's not what's happening under the hood.
Because when you zoom way in, past the feelings, past the achievements, all the way down to the level of neurons firing and synapses connecting, this whole big, complicated story of success gets really simple. It turns out this whole grand experience we chase, it's pretty much run by one single, powerful little chemical messenger.
So to get what's happening, we need to talk about your brain's internal rewards department. This is the system that decides what's worth doing again, what feels good, and what you should push for. You could say it's the engine that drives all of your ambition.
And the undisputed star of that system is this guy right here, dopamine. Now, you've probably heard of it. People call it the pleasure molecule, right? But that's not quite right. A much better name for it is the molecule of motivation. See, it's not really about the pleasure of having something. It's about the drive to go get it. It's the little chemical voice in your head that says, whoa, that was good. Let's do that again. It's the engine behind learning, habits, and, as we're about to see, the actual feeling of success.
Now, to really understand how this works, I want to tell you a story. It's a simple story based on tons of real neuroscience research about a guy we're just going to call Sam. So Sam signs up for a study, figures he'll play a simple game, make a few bucks. He had absolutely no idea that he was about to help scientists uncover the fundamental secret of how our brain actually feels success.
So the setup was super simple. Sam sits down at a computer and plays a basic game. Maybe he just has to press a button at the right time. If he nails it, a little chime goes off and he gets a tiny cash reward, let's say 10 cents. Easy enough, right? But the whole time, he's hooked up to a brain scanner, and a team of scientists is watching one thing, and one thing only, his dopamine levels. So Sam is playing away, winning some dimes, and everything seems to be going exactly as you'd expect. But as the scientists are staring at their monitors, they start to see a pattern that's, well, a little strange. It wasn't as simple as Sam gets money, dopamine goes up. Nope. The real story was way more interesting than that. And here it is, the first huge clue. The biggest dopamine spikes, they weren't happening when the 10 cents actually showed up. They were happening in that split second of anticipation, the moment he knew he'd done it right and the reward was on its way. His brain wasn't reacting to the reward itself, it was reacting to the expectation of getting it. And that was the key that unlocked everything. It meant Sam's brain wasn't just working like a simple calculator that said money equals good. No, it was a dynamic system, constantly updating its predictions. The 10 cents wasn't really the point. His brain was interested in a completely different kind of math. Which brings us to the absolute core of this entire explainer, the big secret. And it's not some vague idea. It's basically a formula, a simple, powerful equation that your brain is running all day, every single day, to decide if you are succeeding or not. Okay, this chart explains the whole thing perfectly. Check it out. When the reward was exactly what Sam expected, 10 cents, he got a nice little bump in dopamine. Pleasant, but no big deal.
But then, let's say the machine glitched and gave him 50 cents, a reward that was way better than he expected. And what happened? Boom, a massive dopamine spike. That's the feeling of euphoria, of a huge win. But what about when he expected 10 cents and got nothing? His dopamine didn't just go back to normal, it plummeted. And that sharp drop? That, my friends, is the chemical signature of disappointment.
So here's the bottom line. Success to your brain isn't just achieving a goal. It's doing better than you predicted. It's that unexpected improvement. It's the positive surprise. That is the biological definition of a win. It's not about the destination. It's about the positive gap between where you expected to be and where you actually ended up.
You know, a good way to think about it is that your brain isn't just passively watching your life. It's a relentless prediction machine. It's constantly running little simulations. Okay, if I do this, what's going to happen? And it uses dopamine not just to reward you, but to tell you when your prediction needs an update. A positive surprise is your brain's way of saying, hey, whatever you just did, it worked even better than we thought. Pay attention. Let's lock that in and do it again. Okay, so this is all really cool science, but so what? What does this mean for us, out here in the real world, not playing computer games for dimes? Well, this is where it gets really powerful. This is the secret to actually feeling successful a lot more often.
Let's break it down. That amazing feeling you get when you succeed, it's just a chemical signal. That's it. And that signal has one job, to scream, hey, reality just turned out better than you expected. And when that happens, it reinforces whatever you just did, making you want to do it again. It is literally our most basic learning tool. It's your brain motivating you to get smarter, get better, and keep pushing forward.
So this brings us all the way back to the beginning. If you set some huge goal, like I'm going to become a millionaire by the time I'm 30, and you don't quite hit it, your brain registers a massive dopamine drop. It feels like a failure. But what if you could change the game? The secret to using the system isn't just about setting and hitting goals. It's about managing your expectations. It's about setting tough but realistic short-term goals. It's about actually celebrating the small, unexpected wins. You know, when you plan to get through 5 pages of a report and you actually finish 7, that's a dopamine hit. When you thought a workout was going to be awful but you actually felt amazing, that's a win. You can literally architect your life to create more of these positive surprises. And that's the final thought I really want to leave you with. This isn't about lowering your standards or dreaming smaller, not at all. It's about working smarter with your own brain's hardware. So how can you break down your biggest dreams into smaller steps where you can consistently beat your own short-term expectations? How can you get better at noticing and celebrating all the unexpected good things that happen? That isn't just some feel-good advice. It's literally hacking your own biology to feel more motivated, more successful, and more alive. And remember our friend Sam? He walked out of that lab with a few bucks in his pocket, but he left us with this incredible insight. Success isn't some trophy you put on a shelf. It's a flash of chemistry in your brain that says, wow, that went even better than I thought. So go out there and start engineering some positive surprises. If you enjoyed hacking your brain with us today, make sure to subscribe for more explainers that break down how your world and your mind really works. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.